Hey everyone, Ammo here taking a look at Rogue Islands. This is a first-person shooter roguelike developed and produced by Big Fat Alien. Currently early access. It's an early alpha version 0.3, as you can see up there. And seems like they're constantly working on this, working very hard on it. In the short time that I've had this game, about 2 or 3 days, it has been updated at least twice that I've seen. So they're on top of the work, and they specifically want community feedback. That's why they're doing early access. They said that's what they want to get. They want some advice from the outside on how to improve their product, which I respect that a lot, so good on them. As far as being a first-person shooter roguelike, that's a genre that's seen a lot of experimentation, not a ton of success. There's been some titles that have been well received, such as Tower Guns, a lot of other titles that have struggled. A big thing in this genre, first-person shooter roguelikes, are level designs in a first-person shooter. Having a good level design first-person shooter doesn't work, so it's hard to do that with a procedural engine, right? So a lot of procedurally generated levels in first-person shooters end up being kind of ugly and gross and labyrinthine in a bad way. So, but this game kind of solves that a little bit by focusing mostly on exterior environments. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the game, and I'll give you, I'll give you an idea of the game, how it plays, how the mechanics work, and then my opinion, my overview, and some of my criticisms of the title. It's our new game. Right off the bat here, though, this used to be you choose a different starting loadout between two, which I'd like to see more. I would also like to see they moved that and gave it this nightmare permadeath option. I would like to see starting loadouts or different characters return. Those add variety to the roguelike, to the beginning game of any roguelike, and I would like to see that variety reintroduced. Otherwise, you're always starting the same way, in the same place, the same person, the same weapons, in the same time, and it gets it makes the early game more homogenous, which is bad. You don't want that homogeny in your roguelike. So I like to see some different starting options back. They have permadeath nightmare mode instead, which I think they could also kind of combine. So permadeath, you die once no matter what you permanently did. Nightmare mode, they have nightmare items. You have a nightmare item that you start with, and then they're going to allow you to craft them in the future. They're looking into that, being able to craft the nightmare items, which act as a spare life. You die, you wake back up as if you never died, or as if from a nightmare. It says but only once, but it said in the future they're going to be looking into ways to add more nightmares. It seems silly, so right now the option is between 1 extra life and no extra lives, and it seems kind of silly. The rogue players are accustomed to permadeath. Permadeath's fine, you can just leave it on permadeath. And then having nightmare items that add extra lives, having those be rare pickups or difficult to craft or have some steep price associated with them, that'd be kind of cool. You can totally put that in permadeath mode. Just have it as one, permadeath, but if you work really hard, maybe you get special lives they can use. Maybe you could add deal with the devil type mechanics. Maybe your nightmare makes you stronger, but there's some drawback to it, so you can die, come back, do more damage, have less HP, be slower, something like that. Have some trade-offs. I think they could experiment with this nightmare idea a lot. Maybe you wake back up and the world is more dangerous than when you left it. I think they can play with this idea of making nightmares, and you can do a lot of interesting trade-offs, and trade-offs are usually really interesting in roguelites, and I think they could play with this idea a lot in this nightmare mode. But into the actual game, I just wanted to have that little spiel because it's brand new today from what I was playing the past few days of forming my opinion on. This one's brand new. So we'll start a new game on nightmare mode. I'll go ahead and skip the load screen. The load screens were a little bit long yesterday, so the last time I was playing, I'm not sure if the update changed that, but I'll find out. Hold up, I almost forgot about the starting. I almost forgot about the intro cinematic. We gotta watch that. For thousands of years, the gnomes of Italor flourished. A network of great trees bound their islands together. Till one day, the Deep-Root Grove revealed a demonic invasion. And then the Great Tree Network went dark. But now, a brave gnome druid named Mottwort, sailing into the unknown to restore the Great Tree Network and save the Rogue Islands. Roll credits. Alright, I think the update improved load time, so that took like 30 seconds. So never mind. Initial criticism before we get into the game. Settings, this is the default sensitivity for mouse keyboard. It also supports gamepad. For doing a shooter, I'm playing mouse keyboard. It's insanely low, and if I go to my settings, you see it's set at 100. It's not really. You have to reset it at 100, and then it fixes itself. That's kind of, you know, weird. We are on our boat, and this is our island. Bottom left is our objectives. Let's get on the island and start collecting things. We are the little gnome, and we have our magic staff, and we have to kill things to complete our objective. I'm gonna get the elephant out of the room right away. Minecraft. There, I said it. It has very Minecraft-esque aesthetic. It's kind of blocky, cartoony, casual aesthetic. And then, as you see, as we shoot this man to death, the skeleton man to death, we also destroy the environment as we go along, and the environment breaks into little blocks, which we do not collect. We do not craft things out of blocks, and we do not build anything. Certainly, we do not create structures out of the blocks. So it is a little reminiscent of Minecraft visually, but it's not Minecraft. No worries. It's not some sort of Minecraft clone. you can put your pitchforks away. Alright, kill all these guys. So our objectives are in the bottom left. We need to collect bitumen, which is a resource we find, similar to. Hey, look, we just found a resource. So you do mine. There's mining involved. Don't get me wrong, but you're not digging through the mountain looking for iron to make a new sword or anything. Your resources are apparent, and then you shoot them and you just collect the blocks. Bottom right is our HUD. We have our HP, that little heart. We also have a red, green, and purple bar. The red and green are types of minerals that fuel later spells and works as a form of ammunition. Purple is our mana. Oh my gosh, the brambles. I'll talk about the brambles later. The purple is our mana. It charges our base spells, our raw magic spells, and also eat that squash. And also controls our maneuverability. So if I hold down the jump button, we drain the mana to a super jump. If I jump lightly and then hold it down, we get a fly. That's really cool, and it's really fun, and it's really satisfying. Especially as we build up. So earlier I got mana crystals, actually raised the amount of mana we have. It raised our purple bar. But not only does that empower our spells more, it also increases our maneuverability. And that's really cool, and as we get... Whoa, it's a bee. It's a bee. It's going to suicide me. Where's the bee? There it is. And as we gather more of those resources, as we gather more of those resources, the game doesn't like it when I'm recording, when I'm capping, and it spills acid everywhere. So as we collect those further wands to do the other spells, to use that red and green resource, so then the mana will just be for maneuverability, but then if we run out, or we need to just use our mana spells, then we have to kind of compromise between combat and maneuverability, which is interesting enough. Most of these auxiliary enemies enough. I mean, you just circle strafe and shoot them to death. The spells we have available to us. We press Q, we can take a look at our inventory and our spells. So here's our inventory. The mana charge, that affects how much storage we have. Mana storage, you don't actually use it for any crafting. Crafting is real simple. Click on something, you have recipes to the right. We can form our diamonds into imbued diamonds using the gem and 50 dust. We can also do it with emeralds and rubies. And of course the emerald and ruby shards and diamond shards can be crafted with the respective gems using that spirit dust we got for killing enemies. And what do we do with those gems? We put them into our sticks to get stronger spells out of our sticks. We got the raw mana, elemental earth, pyromancy. These are wands we'll find as we play through the game. These other two over here, we start of course with the base one, and then we can upgrade. Each one has 3 spells which can be upgraded, and of course to get stronger is the upgrade. You choose between upgrading a spell or getting a new spell. I haven't played with any of the pyromancy spells. Like I've said, I only had this game for a couple of days. I played a few runs, got to like the 4th island. We've had a few hours in the game. The runs are not quick. This is not Isaac or even Gungeon level runs. These are long runs, which that's more of a matter of opinion if you prefer that or not. These are pretty long runs. The spells from the elemental, at least the elemental side, and I assume for the pyromancy side, seem pretty strong, but they do require a non-regenerating resource. You have to find the ammunition for it. Which is what you would expect, really. You imbue it, and then that makes you stronger. It's how you get more powerful. That's the main thing you're mining. You're also collecting. You can also forage for food and other consumables that give you small upgrades, small benefits. And of course, mining these shards, we can upgrade. And looking for bitumen. Bitumen's the other resource other than shards, spirit dust, and consumables. Bitumen's the last thing we're looking for. Which we use to fuel our boat. You put gas in the boat, sail away. I walked into the acid there, and the acid, man, just hates the frames, just hate the acid. We need to fuel the boat in order to leave. And we can only leave the boat, we can only leave after we get the boat fuel and complete our objective. In this first island, the objective is always make boat fuel and leave, so it's not really like a big deal. But later on, we won't be able to leave without our objective. and you are encouraged to complete your objective quickly, because as we're probably going to see, there are big old giant ghosts that's not really giant. They're ghosts that spawn at night. So at night, your punch take too long by ghosts spawning, and they chase you around and endlessly harass you. Lots of enemies today. Sometimes you play and there aren't that many enemies harassing you. Today seems like we have a lot. But we'll try to just do our objective and not fight them too much, even though they do give us the spirit dust. The ghosts, yeah, chase around and they do damage to you, and that can be very... We'll talk about the ghosts later. We'll see them. We'll talk about that more in depth. But you are encouraged to go quickly. Also, let's try to... Here, bitumen. Up the sheer cliff. These islands are all procedurally generated. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Islands are procedurally generated, and they're mostly exterior. Some interesting stuff going on. They usually have pretty awesome caves and vistas. Like, you see we're in a mountain with a giant hole inside the mountain. Which leads to... Go away. I feel like increased monster spawns or something since last time I played. Which was like a day ago. Oh, man, it does not like that acid effect. Getting way more enemies, I feel like. Here we have... Ooh, and it's a castle. Perfect timing. Drop down to here. Ooh, use our levitation so we don't die. You do take fall damage, so you have to be careful to use your jump or your levitation, which they only recently added levitation. Before it was really easy to just fall to your death through a hole like that. So I'm glad they added they added the levitation in there. And these emeralds while we're over here. They do stick out pretty well, which is nice, especially because you're not digging for them, right? They're in the mountainside. You're not like, I'm not just shooting down endlessly trying to build a giant hole to find anything. That would be crazy. I haven't done that. It takes a long time. So I haven't done it, and there's no reason to do it. As far as I can tell, unless they have some really cool secret stuff hidden around, which I doubt. So the castles, that gives us our treasure chests and gives us some loot. So let's break into the castle. Of course, there's no door. For whatever reason, we gotta make our own door. Pop our way in here. And then that gives us a chest, which we just pop open. And it is primarily shards and gems. But in our first chest, you... As far as I can tell, always get the Vital League, which is your second stick. So once we get an emerald, we get the Seekers, which are pretty strong. And I assume later on an island, we'll always get... By a certain island, you always get the Pyro Wand as well. Maybe even the second island. I'm just bad, never got there. I don't know. See, it takes... So in order to activate that wand, we would need 20 shards and 30 dust to make an emerald. And then we would need... the emerald and 50 dust to make an imbued emerald, and we'll throw it in there. I think it's 50 for all the gems. Might actually be lying, so take that for what it's worth. See if we can get through this first island, then I'll give my impression of the game. Some of my concerns. There are some concerns about this title. Oh yeah, bitch, give me all. That's our objective. Okay. Our health's getting a little bit low. Might want to consider throwing in a squash in our gullet. And collecting a new squash. We could just eat her off the bat. It is getting dark, so we're going to be seeing the ghosts probably. Love to see more mana crystals around, because the mana crystal upgrades are really great. Also, you can't swim, there's water in the game. Pretty much every body of water has the little skeletal piranhas in there, which are kind of stuck over there. And you drown kind of quickly. And there's no reason to go in the water anyway. Where's bitumen? I get 15. Should be close to... Where are we at? 13. 2 more. 2 more game. That's my objective. Yeah, we got lots of other things to talk about. I think I can save that part for the second island. But emerald... I'm loving the new levitation mechanic, by the way. That was just added today, that's why I'm talking about it a lot. Here we go, here's bitumen. Mild crafting and loot, mild looting, resource gathering and crafting. So here we need to make our fuel, like I said, we need to make our ship fuel. Craft that together using our dust and our bitumen. Gather more bitumen. Now, the only objective on this first island is to leave the island, which is kind of weird. But that's what it is. Our ship is always south. We have a map. What way are we facing? South, okay, perfect. We're going the right way. I'm actually do I want to stick around and see the ghosts? I want to stick around and just take a look at the ghosts. Nah, we can see, yeah. we'll wait to see the ghosts. I was gonna say, we can do that next island, but then I don't have to wait all the way until nighttime necessarily. I'll just gather some more resources. Gather more spirit dust, you know, get stronger as you normally would in a roguelike. would normally expect to. Go away from the acid so it doesn't kill all of our frames. I'm gonna go over there and pick up the spirit dust yet. If we get enough, we might be able to upgrade our little spark shot. Or we can get to the zap, which is actually not bad, does decent damage, just very short range. What is this little circle arena over here? Can't carry any more corn. Little fishies. Fishies, I mean, you can like side run way faster than the fishies. So they're not that threatening. They are just everywhere. It's just a little donut out here. Oh, you know, procedural generation's gonna do weird things like that sometimes. Also a little island out here. Not gonna be anything there either. Waiting on our ghosts, gathering some resources. Normally we would just leave, because of course you don't want to wait around for no reason with the ghosts. Gathering extra spirit dust and stuff would be, you know, probably just a fine idea, but you don't want to wait around for the ghosts. Go away, you guys are gross and awful. You make gross noises, and then you kill all my frames. Really wish you could build a fish, but can't, but oh well. We have enough materials to craft a diamond. I don't want to craft a diamond, we already have a diamond. We need enough materials to imbue a diamond. We do not have. Which we might as well get, right? Go kill some skeletons. Before our ghosts show up. Love to find some more mana crystals, upgrade our mana capacity. Not only does that make us way more maneuverable, it also, of course, enables our primary weapon, or at least a primary weapon right now. The brambles. Oh, we'll talk about the brambles. I have some opinions on the brambles. It's enough to imbue a diamond. Okay, cool. So now we're set. I just want to see the ghosts. Show the ghosts before we leave. I heard them spawning. There are ghosts spawn at night. They harass you endlessly. Who's that mana crystal? Those just diamond shards. I mean, I'll want them regardless. Here to be diamond shards. Oh, is that a ghost? There's a ghost. Alright, so these ghosts fall from the sky at night, and they follow you around, and they hurt you. And that's all they do. They follow you relentlessly, and then they drain your HP like that pretty quickly if you let them. So they can be very dangerous. As long as you keep moving, they can't really keep up with you, though. So really your punishment for going slow is that you have to keep walking. So you just gotta keep going. Let's go find our ship. Should be, I think that way is south. South is this way for us. And then, yeah, so that's what happens. You just get followed by ghosts forever and ever. Which could be really... Well, it certainly came that corner top as well. Get our HP back. Of course, eating food heals you. That's how you heal. You scavenge for food. Which I like a good scavenging adventure. And you still have your enemies, and you can't leave until you complete your objectives. So it's if you don't complete your objective in time, you're gonna be stuck with these ghosts chasing you while you're trying to do that. Get out to our boat. The fish aren't a big deal. Just side stray faster than they can keep up. See you later, fishies. The ghosts, they do not follow you on your boat. They're on a boat. The ghost gives up. Here's our ship fuel. Let's imbue our diamond while we're here. The boom, imbued diamond. That lets us go to our spells. Diamonds upgrade your mana spells. We can upgrade our spark shot or get the zap. It does a lot of damage, but it uses your entire pool, and it's kind of short range. And I played with it before. I haven't played with an upgraded spark shot though, so let's upgrade our spark shot. There we go, level 2. Nice. That's pretty cool. Alright, I like that. That's what the second level spark shot, so the upgraded spark shot looks like. Here we add fuel to the furnace, and that lets us leave. Go to the overworld. Game saved, island complete. Stat screen obviously isn't working yet because everything's just out of what we did, which is silly. Turn to the globe. Here's our overworld, so that's our starting island. This is the first island, kind of tutorial, just teaching how to make ship fuel. And here's our second island to travel to. Alright, so here we are at island number 2. We have to find Vita's tree, which is a big old giant tree in the island. In fact, we see it. Oh, the mouse sensitivity. Hold up. Gotta make that happen again. Alright, there we go. Yeah, so it's the big old giant tree, so that should be pretty easy to find. The combat feels fine. I like the idea of having... I'm okay with the magic. It kind of takes away some of the issues of gunplay that a lot of first-person shooter roguelikes have with kind of raw gunplay. This is... I mean, it's not gunplay, it's magic, so they have a lot of freedom to how they want it to feel and act, and it feels pretty good. It feels fine. With spells, they feel impactful enough and sufficiently magical. Especially now this one's like upgraded, sounds like down, although it being tied to our movement can be frustrating, but it's I think it's fair enough design, especially because we do get upgraded spells that use an ammunition system, and then our maneuverability and our combat are then divorced from one. Where do we even start? Well, one thing I'll say, the water, I'm not sure why there's so much water. There's tons of water. There's a lot of water. It's an island, right? I'm not sure why there are so many fish. There are tons of fish, and you drown kind of quickly, and you can't kill the fish. And I'm not sure why, because there's not really much in the water. There's not a lot of underwater treasure chests. There aren't underwater prizes to be found. There's a couple of... Sometimes things fall in the water like that, and there are a couple of materials a couple of plants you can forage from the water, but they don't really seem that strong, and the fish aren't even that deadly, and just the water seems like less fish or more stuff in the water that makes you want to go in the water. For now, the water is just a mild inconvenience. Fish aren't that dangerous, so it's almost feels like the water is supposed to be a hazard, but it's not, because the fish aren't that bad, and there's not any reason to go in the water. So why not just make the water just a chill place? If there's nothing in there, might as well just make it chill, right? Just relax. Just water, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't need to be dangerous. There's no reason. There's no reward for going in there, unless you make a Montwort unable to swim. But then you make the water way too dangerous. It just I don't know. It seems like a little overboard to make the water the way it is with all the fish and everything. Dig through there. My main concern for the game. Let's grab the big concern. Oh, also the brambles. My God, this is not my main concern, but I said I was going to talk about it, and I was biting my tongue. These flippin' brambles are insane. You take so much damage just walking into them. They're little thorn bushes, blend into the environment pretty well. They do have pink flowers, but it still is just grass that hurts you. Can't destroy it. It just stays there, just floats there, and you can't. When you walk into it, it doesn't get destroyed. It just sits there eternally to hate you. Environmental hazards are fine. Frustrating blending in environmental hazards that do lots of damage. You can't be destroyed as just blades of grass. They're not spikes. There's just grass, and it hurts you, and I hate it. make that stop. Primary concern is a linearity, and seems to be real linearity to the upgrade system and to Montwort himself. I played a few runs. It kind of always play out the same way. I either get Zap or upgrade Spark, and then I get my Twig, and then I get some Emeralds, and upgrade that. And so there's 9 spells with an upgrade, so it's like 18 total end up with spells. But then, I mean, you always are going to get access to them. It's going to go progress about the same way with how you get Emeralds and how you get Diamonds, at least initially. You're not, when you're finding these chests and everything, you're just getting more resources. You're just getting more experience. Everything basically functions as experience, right? Because we get diamond shards. We don't. What are you trying to do? Craft stuff? Stop. You get diamond shards, emerald shards, ruby shards, and spirit dust. And then we just combine those into different ways to upgrade our abilities step by step. It's as if it's just getting experience and leveling up, and then putting a skill point in a spell. It's the same thing. So there's not really. So it has this kind of pseudo facade of gathering and crafting, but it's really just you're just gathering experience. That's what it feels like. That's what the result is. We found the tree. Oh, don't go to my death. Where's that big giant tree? And now let's go to the top of the tree. So it just feels like we're just gathering experience all the time. I've almost died. Get up this tree. It just feels like I'm gathering experience, and I'm not finding items. I'm not finding new weapons. I can find ways to upgrade the weapons we get with these twigs, but they're always the same spells, and I'm going to be getting them mostly in the same order. And I guarantee I play this game long enough, I'm just going to find a few spells that I stick with and just, I always get Spark Shot 2, and later on I get Seekers 2, and then, I get one of these fire spells later on, and then I just swap between those primary spells. They do have different functions, but I feel I don't if they're always acting the same way, and I get them at the same time, then the runs are going to start to bleed together, and that's really bad for roguelike. You need that variety. So I wouldn't mind seeing maybe like we have a little motwort right here, and then we add little. You can give them. You can find hats. Maybe find little boots and books and robes that do interesting new things. Maybe they make him faster. Maybe they make him levitate indefinitely. Maybe they make his spells do more damage, or maybe they make certain spells do more damage, and other spells do less damage. You can play around. You have a lot of room in roguelike for creative item design. Maybe something that slows my fall speed, or it doubles the efficiency of my jumps. You can go crazy. You can really go crazy, especially this imaginative game like this in this world, and like I said, magic. So it's all magical. We can really go off the rails what your upgrades are. You don't need to restrain yourself. Because right now I feel like it's, despite being a magical world, I'm a magical gnome warlock, it's kind of samey. It shouldn't be samey. It should be, dude, these guys are just raining acid death upon me. Eat the squash. So you can definitely add some new items to find, and not necessarily new spells. I can understand why you don't have a certain number of spells. Of course, spells take a long time to implement and design and balance and everything, but other ways to alter the gameplay and to mostly differentiate the runs from one another. That's my main concern, is that the runs are differentiated. It's as if I'm playing a regular old linear game that has permadeath. Which isn't necessarily a roguelike, right? It doesn't feel like a roguelike. I want to play, if I do Enter the Gungeon or Binding of Isaac, then runs are primarily going to be really different from each other. I'm not just trying to beat the same game, or I'm not just playing Mega Man trying to beat it over and over again, right? That's my main concern. Let's go meditate. Meditate in Vita's energy. There we go. That gives us a little bit of healing. And now we need to go at... Do we have fuel already? No, we need to go craft fuel, of course. That was that object. Don't just fall off, even though you can meditate. I'm still afraid. That's a new mechanic. Which is great. The mobility is really good. I like that. Keep that going. Yeah, lack of items, which also makes the chests... I like to see some more adventurousness with the chests and the items that we can find. So you can... Well, we found the castle earlier. That's where we got our secret wand, right? The brambles. Man, the brambles. So we have the chest. You found the secret wand in there, right? It wasn't really a castle. It's a chest in a castle-shaped box, but it's not a castle. It's not a dungeon. There's no mines that we can go find cool stuff. The castles aren't really castle-y. They're just boxes. Oh my goodness. I don't know why my computer hates the acid animation so much. They're kind of really lackluster. I'd like to see... So they avoided the pitfalls of first-person shooter level design issues by making an exterior, so it's just these big, beautiful, open exteriors that you can explore and run around in, which is pretty cool. They have these nice caverns and lakes and everything. It looks pretty... it looks pretty enough. There's some of that adamant, some of the resource to drive our green spells once we get those. The ammunition, basically. But they could... maybe throw in maybe handcraft a couple dungeons, some mines or castles, or do some procedural generation from that angle. So you can, so while I'm walking around over here, maybe there's a cave, and then, alright, it's going to be close range, it's going to be, I'm a little fragile gnome, maybe be a little dangerous, but maybe I can find some good loot in there. There's not really loot in this game. They'll say there's loot, but it's not loot. You're looking for, you're getting some stuff to eat, which some of them do some cool stuff, but mostly it's kind of just, you get some temporary status effects and healing, and work towards incremental upgrades to your power. Which I'd like to see more adventurous items and changes that can really differentiate the runs and make it feel... It's a game called Rogue Islands, and I really want it to have a rogue experience. And that means I need to have runs that differ from each other, that can differentiate from each other pretty substantially. There doesn't seem to be any sort of meta progression, so then that makes that even more important, because otherwise it's just it's not really a roguelike, is it? It's just a regular video game with permadeath. And it takes a lot more in permadeath to make a roguelike game. Which, as far as being a normal game, yeah, it feels fine, honestly. But they're trying to make it a roguelike, it definitely needs some of that, some more variety in it. Also, the ghosts at night. So now it's nighttime, I haven't found enough bitumen to leave, to make the ship fuel, which honestly seems kind of tedious. The always harvesting the little dark bitumen to make the ship fuel to leave after I otherwise do the objective, just seems kind of an unnecessary pad to an already, if you are making a roguelike game, then it's kind of long. These runs get kind of long, and that really adds to it, having the farm ship fuel for kind of feels like busy work. Craft down there, and almost got crushed. The ghosts, yeah, that takes a long time. We have to deal with the ghosts. And the ghosts, I am okay with the idea of you take a while, you get punished. You get punished time-wise by having something chase. So it's a lot like Spelunky, right? Get that out there. You take long in Spelunky Cavern, the ghosts chase you. You take long in Rogue Islands, at nighttime the ghosts chase you. But you can't leave, and you have no respite from the ghosts. So they kind of just inconvenience you until they leave, so you can keep doing what you're doing. So they aren't threatening enough to kill you as long as you keep moving, but while you're moving, you're gonna have trouble completing whatever your objective was. If you can't complete your objective, you can't leave, so you can't really get away from the ghosts until it's daytime, or unless you have already completed your objective. So if your objective is a boss fight you haven't done yet, you don't want to fight the boss with the ghosts around, so you're just gonna be running around in circles at night until the ghosts go away. Which is just, it feels like busy work, feels tedious. Don't need to have the ghosts chasing you that way that often when you can't even hide from them. Maybe if you can go to your ship and just go to sleep. So maybe make the ghosts even more dangerous and more aggressive, but you can get to your ship and just sleep it off, and maybe you get, you heal through the night and the ghosts don't kill you in the ship. Your ship's enchanted. You're a magical gnome. Why can't I magically get rid of ghosts? They're they're spiritual creatures. Something like that would be nice to see, some way to get away from these ghosts. Or you can do different things at night. Yeah, I do like the idea of a day and night cycle, and the timing seems fine. The days and nights don't take forever. They're long enough for it to be day or night for some significant amount of time, but it's not. Right. The dude's throwing stuff at me. It's not long enough to take forever. Like if you need it to be day and you're waiting through the night, although it is inconvenient to run from the ghosts, it doesn't take, literally forever. And they can even do more with the day-night cycle. There's our ghosty ghost. They can do more with the day-night cycle. So like I was saying, if they want to add some cool upgrades, it's a magical world. You go nuts with the magical world. Maybe I can turn into a vampire or a werewolf, and then at night I get different abilities. Maybe I find something that affects my stats or abilities at night, or maybe I get stronger than the day but weaker at night, or they have a lot of opportunity to have some really creative things going on. And they're kind of missing it, because it feels like a lot of their design on the game is tending away from a roguelike and more towards just a regular shooter. Which they got the shooting down, it's not too bad. Right now, I've only been able to show you this rapid fire spark cannon. Also add more than 2 levels. Add a 3rd level. Make me shoot spreads. You can make the character stronger. You can make the character way stronger. You'll want to make the later game more difficult, of course, with that. But if you have more variety in items and power levels, then of course you can have more variety in the difficulty of levels. And then of course you can even with that overworld map, you can choose between difficulty in islands. Now of course I'd also like to say I've only been about to 4th island. Maybe secretly afterwards all this stuff I'm complaining about comes true. If that's the case, we'll then make that stuff earlier, because of course you need to capture people's attention early, otherwise I'm not going to keep playing the game. So still valid criticisms, it's just the criticism changes to do those things, implement those things earlier in the experience. I think those are the main. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say about Rogue Islands. It is a developing, very early access, very early game, and not 0.3 version that I'm playing right now. So very early access, first-person roguelike, which has some potential as light crafting, light exploring, light crafting, light exploring, very light looting, but really looting just experience. Kind of light combat. Everything's so light about it, though. We can go heavier in a lot of the stuff. Add more variety to the runs, add more variety to levels, give you some interiors in there, add some really crazy, awesome loot, go balls to the wall with the magic theme, and add some really crazy magic loot. And I think this game could really, really be a nice addition to the roguelike world, and in particular first-person shooter roguelike genre, because that's, in particular, has been struggling. A lot of other, roguelike top-down shooters, roguelike RPGs, roguelike strategy games, they all have, or tactical games, I should say. They've all had some good entrances. First-person shooter, though, it's been one that's been experimented with a lot, but hasn't found a ton of success, and I think this would be a good entrance if, like, instead of a tiny castle-shaped box with a box that gives me some not exciting loot, we had a little mini dungeon that gave me something really awesome that changed the way I played the game at the end. That would be really cool and would really encourage me to keep playing. As it is, I'm curious to see what happens to the levels as we keep going. But the islands take a very long time. Especially feels like it's filled with a lot of busy work, and the combat feels linear. If I die right now and come back, well then I'm just going to be, how long have I been playing, and this is my weapon. And this is the only weapon I have right now. I die and come back, I'm restarting, and it's going to be the exact same thing. I'll be at this weapon again, getting through some of the busy work of the first few islands. So I think that could be relieved with different starting characters and wider variety of items, weapons, spells, that kind of thing. But it's developing. So take a look at it. It's available on Steam for early access, $10. The developers are mostly looking for... Oh, and these people. Or a little bit of horror. If that's the scream you make for bees, you could get some horror elements in here as well. But which would be kind of nifty. That's just a little aside. You have this cute aesthetic, and maybe make some horrifying things, especially in some of those dungeons I was talking about. Some potential dungeons, that'd be interesting. But anyway, available on Steam, $10. Early access developers are mostly looking for people that can give them some feedback and ways to develop the game, because as they said, when you're on the inside, you're looking out, it's a lot different from being on the outside looking in, so to say. So they are really looking for they're really looking for players to help them, give them some feedback on what their opinions are and suggestions and such. So I'm going to go check out this castle, run through these brambles, see what's in here. Of course, can't shoot with our mobility. The mobility feels really, really good. You can really start flying all over the place, especially after you build up your mana bar a little bit. That feels nice. And yeah, see, I should be more excited about treasure chests than that. So that was Rogue Islands. Check it out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, enjoy the video, subscribe for more fun interesting, and I'll see you next time.